Hi, it's Xavier. Welcome to my bonsai retreat. Do you know what? It's the 30th of May today, and now is when we should be doing all our air layers. Optimum time, we've got the full flush. Now is the time we should be hacking into those cambium layers, ripping off the xylem and all that sort of fancy stuff, so that we can get some sphagnum moss around these trunks and get some pretty decent trees. Now, the weather's been absolutely appalling, and I'm struggling to get out here, and I've got hollies, I've got hornbeams, I've got beeches, I've got loads to do. And do you know what occurred to me? You've probably seen loads of air layer videos, and following the vein of my hero, Yella, of growing bonsai, I've been doing a bit of time-lapse work. I thought what I would do is, rather than show you one now, why not I show you one where you get to see a whole year in the life and you get to see the results. So I had a problematic hornbeam. You know, it's the usual issue that we all face. We get material that we think is going to be fantastic, and then when we look closer at it, we realise that actually it's not all that good. So I've got to work through, as I say, I'm going to be air layering a load of these, but this hornbeam I had a look at it. Oh gosh, it must have been 23rd of March 2023.
What a memory, Ben!
I came up with a few ideas with it. And rather than me explain it to you now, which is ever so boring, I thought what we could actually do is zap back in time and have a look at my thought processes and introduce you to the tree. Now, there's one disclaimer, and I'm going to apologise right now. Do you know, a year ago, I was even more boring than I am right now. So it may be a little bit monotone like that, but hang in there. The results are definitely surprising. In fact, there were a few challenges that even I didn't expect from my clumsiness. So if you want to see what that incredible amount of clumsiness was, you have to watch most of the video, because there's a definite howler in there which, well, makes me laugh when I keep looking back at it. But anyway, rather than me blab, let's crack on. There's all the examples of what you need for air layering, and enjoy. But the best bit is, by the way, you get to see the final result, good or bad. Today, it's coming to the last week of April, and I'm going to show you a problem tree. It's my European hornbeam. It was one of 20 that I got in, I think I got it back in 2015. Got planted up in a nursery bed and forgotten and left.
I'm already so bored I could die.
So looking at it, I've got the choice of letting it continue to grow, maybe keeping the top, letting these branches grow out and actually have it as a tree that's got some movement, definitely got some movement, and grow it out and keep it at a sort of 3-foot tree or a 2-foot tree. But the thing that's stopping me is this trunk, absolutely no taper at all, and it's something you'll find that's quite common with a lot of the hedging material we grow. We've actually got this line here and then a branch coming down. So that's useful, and I've got a little branch just back here which I've literally just wired to give us some sort of corresponding downward perspective. Now, until I look at the roots right down there, I'm not going to know just how good that is in the angle, but that's the set. What I also looked at though is up here. We've got this almost twin trunk that could come from there. So I could actually find the best angle, take all these, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trees off, 5 branches off, and maybe I'll put an air layer in about here. So, for my problem hornbeam, the next time you're going to see me, I would imagine, is in about 6 weeks' time. It's only a few weeks later, and I'm about ready to try and tackle this air layer. It is going to be complicated, and something I hadn't really noticed to begin with, and probably should have, and that's about the amount of scarring there is higher up. And obviously, if you want to produce decent roots, tissue needs to be in good health and in good order. What I was hoping for is to be able to get an air layer right there. There's no point going lower down. I really don't think so, because of the nature of how that is. So I either lose it completely, or in this case, because if it works, there will actually be quite a decent twin trunk there. Give it a shot and see what happens. I'll have the sphagnum moss, rooting gel, brush to put it on, couple of bits of wire to secure the plastic in. Got me plastic which is going to get wrapped around that. Tin foil to keep it all in darkness and also to stop the algae forming on the inside of the plastic from the light. Now looking closer, what you'll see the issues are is right there. You've got a big wound, so that means there's no living tissue there. Here, same thing. We're not going to get any roots from this point here, so I've got roots possibly through here, here, and then we've got this enormous great hollow or oro there. So we're not going to get any roots there. But if we can get roots either side, and that should hopefully be a decent result. Okay. This is going to be really difficult. Well, as you can see, I've put a tourniquet loosely on, and it's very difficult. All of the cambium off, fairly tight on there, and so you can get an idea of the line that I want, and we'll see. Try and get a good seal on the bottom. So I've got a nice cup there, and then we're going to fill it with sphagnum. Okay, so I'll put a few holes at the bottom. Okay, so that's on there. Who knows? I mean, you can see it though. If that works, that will be an absolutely beautiful tree. And then just finish that off, just to make sure the wind doesn't blow the foil off. Okay, so give that a see. I mean, that works. That could be a lovely tree. Probably went as well as I thought it could do. There's clearly a couple of areas where we're not going to get roots. I'd probably suggest that it isn't the strongest of trees. So there's a number of things that are probably going against success here. The roots take, even if I get 50% root and that lives, that will be a pretty decent show in Hornbeam, I think. Okay, so 26th of August now. We've got lots of growth beneath the baggie, and certainly I can see a future in this lower half. But first, you know what? Should we go and find out whether anything decent's happened in the baggie? Well, I'm not getting a sense of roots in there. Now this one I would have liked to have worked. No. Oh, a little root. One little root. The answer is to put the Airlayer back on and probably leave it over the winter. I might actually put it in a pot. I'm going to try something different here. A little bit of quick thinking. Cut a pot open like that. Rather than put sphagnum moss in there, I'm just going to put straight soil in there. Now, what I've got to be very careful about is not to rip that root. Needs a way of making sure this pot stays up. The obvious way is on that. Now the difficulty we have is that the root is right on this far side. What I want to do is just keep that part away. There we go. Right, that needs to be watered in. This will continue to grow. It's got 2 more months, at least, probably 3 more months to see if we get more root. Even if we just get that one root growing long, there's always options. The next time you're going to see this is probably going to be spring. Right, so here we are now. It's the 26th of March 2024, believe it. I think the last time we saw this, well, in your case, it was probably about 5 seconds ago. But for me, I think I'm going all the way back to the 26th of August. Let's have a look and see if there's any roots at all, because I know there's a lot of buds coming up on those, and if there's roots there, I want to get into soil. Now the other reason I need to make a decision on this is because this is very, very claggy soil, and the tree is actually quite loose in it, so I may well want to go ahead with the plans I've got for this lower half. I'm just going to go for it. I might be able to see a couple of roots.
Wishful thinking on his part.
Okay. Right, clearly here we've got some little roots. I'm absolutely ecstatic. Let's get this separated and into something suitable straight away. What I do want to do is obviously keep those roots that are there watered. Oh!
Cover your eyes.
There it is. Hopefully me just dropping it didn't break those roots. Well, thankfully that yet another new disaster wasn't. So let's have a look and see what we've got. Now what amazed me is, again, I think it says that sometimes the desire to give up can lose you a lot of decent material. And if you look at this, I'm looking at growing from here. There's wire in there, so I may still get more roots in decent soil. I could be tempted to cut that down a bit, but right now I'm not. It actually comes from right up here, so I am just going to carefully sort out the roots that are there. And there's certainly quite a few on this side here. Then bury this thing nice and deep. Those little roots that are there, and there's not a bad little web, but probably not enough to support that, so I will do a little pruning back in a second. I'm over the moon, I'm ecstatic, I didn't know that would happen. So many times I've seen that with air layers and I've just given up, and you know that when I did the air layer experiment on my neighbour's Japanese maple tree, there was one particular that had started to callus, but nothing had come from it, and in my ignorance I just tossed it. It was actually the best of the bunch, and really all I needed to do was open the callus up again and put it on for a bit longer. So, you know, we learn these things, and as you know, I'm learning all along the way. Now, pruning wise, really anything down low, I don't want that there. Get rid of that. Got this low branch again down here, it's not much good, just cut it off. And really what I'm looking to is just try and keep just 2 buds on each of these. I can remove that without that. If it continues to develop, is an example of what the perfectly placed air layer can achieve. If you get that placement right and really think about it, you can then produce absolute quality tree, and this will be quality if the rest of those roots come out. So what are we going to do with the rest of it? Well, hopefully the excitement's worn down just a wee bit, but this is what I've got left. This is where the original actual idea was. I was thinking, what could I do? And I thought if I can bring these branches down and just see from there. It was a very one-sided affair, so potentially I could be looking at doing a thread graft on this side next spring. So all I'm going to do is get out of this horrible gunky soil, have a look and see what the roots there are. There's actually a really nice healthy crop of roots. It's not the most incredible piece of stock, so let's get rid of that one. I can see we're going to have a problem straight away, but it's amazing what I might be able to nibble out. It's not going to stay in this existing form, I know. It'll come down, I don't know, maybe it'll come down off this. I'll have a play. This will be just one of those fun development trees we'll see over the years, and who knows, actually turn into something decent. Okay, well, there it is. And no, it's by no means anywhere near even remotely like a finished tree, but I'm starting a new journey with it.
Do you have to?
there's lots of little bud branches that come up from different points on these, and Hornbeam are very versatile. Well, who'd have thought? We're a year further along, nearly, and disaster has probably turned into success. Whatever happens with this one over here, we'll leave that in the lap of the bonsai angels. But this one, there's a small amount of root. I think we're going to be all right. I think that is going to be absolutely awesome. And I'd love to hear your comments on all this, but I think the biggest lesson that comes out of this, as I think it has probably already on another Hornbeam Failed Airlayer. And if you wanted to see just how it was actually getting on, well, blow me down, shiver me timbers, there's lots and lots of green growth all over this wooden stump. It's even got a new shoot coming out down there. So, fingers crossed, this may too work out to be a very, very successful Mame, Hornbeam, Failed Airlayer. What do you call a failure? Don't answer that question. Anyway, let's crack on back to the main event, so to speak. Well, welcome back to the 30th of May. Aren't I perky? It's just in between another rainstorm, and here it is. And maybe to a lot of you, you'll think, I don't see much difference, you know. What is it, 2 months since you last saw this? We've got some browned off leaves, but we've got some green, so we've got some growth there. And if you're looking close, what's even better with something like this, regardless of what happens up here, is this. The tree is responding already with little buds here, here, and nowhere else. But yeah, and further up here as well. So really, really good. But let's be honest, this is what we really wanted to see 2 months later, and still lots of green growth, which means whatever's down there, that little root that we saw way back last year, that little stub of a root, is still supporting the growth that's here. And no, we haven't got shoots flushing out everywhere, but to be honest, I didn't expect that. This tree is hanging on. It's like it's on its last cherry ripe, and it's taking a nibble a day, just enough to keep it breathing. And I'm confident I can see nice bud points there. This growth will continue to take in sunlight and will continue to feed what small root system there is. And I imagine when we look at this next year, it's going to be a lot more remarkable. So, as I keep saying, don't ever give up on your airlayers, no matter what state they look in. If there's even a whiff of a root, then look after it, care for it, treat it like it's the one you love the most. Probably a bit extreme. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this content and you've enjoyed this peek into the trials and tribulations of airlayers in the Bonsai Retreat, then big thumbs up. If you think you've done better, then send me a picture. You know my email, expressionsbonsai@gmail.com, and I'm going to show them to everyone else, because this isn't the best airlayer by far. And as for the 6 that I've got to get on with over the next day or two, well, you know what? I think what we'll do is we'll show those all next year, with a few more year in the life. Yeah, I think that's okay. Now, if there was anyone who was actually looking for a deep dive, in-depth process on air layering, then, you know, I've got some really excellent material. So, first of all, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit bell notifications. If you think anyone else will enjoy or benefit from this, then please share it. But otherwise, if you wanted a bit more, as I say, and a lot more depth, then I can really highly recommend this video. That will tell you everything you need about air layers in the Bonsai Retreat. Happy bonsai and God bless. Cheers.